And I am live. Let's see. Hello, guys. Nice to see you. How are you today? Pedro, I'm here as well. He just wrote me a message. Whenever you want, I'm here. I'm here too. So let's see if he connects now. He should ask me to be live with me. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you what we are going to speak about today. It's going to be a live, one of the first 4 lives of this month, with 4 different experts. Eccolo qua, there he is. Let me see, go live. Let's see if it works. Pedro here from the account of Musica do Circolo, which is one of his projects in Brazil. Hey! Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Good morning.
Yeah, what time is it for you there?
It's 9 a.m.
Okay, 9 a.m. Yes, here is 1 p.m., so all good. Are you cold?
Oh, good.
You're always,
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
cold in
today
Brazil.
is colder here in Brazil. Yeah.
So it's like 22, 23 degrees.
No, it's like 13 or something.
Hmm. Okay, so probably actually colder than here. Okay,
Mm.
so we have quite a lot of faces that I know joining. Hi, Flavia. Hello, guys. So Flavia is going to be, I think, the next one after you, Pedro, in this series of 4 sessions that we do from Instagram. And then we will meet in November on Zoom for longer modules on each of the topics that we're going to bring. So I'm excited about today. Um, it's not as simple to speak about these type of things. Ciao, Luisa. Thanks for being here. And as I wrote you before in the message, good luck. you you decided to do a very hard job in life, but it's a very important one as well. So let's dig in. What do you think?
Yes. Well, today we are talking about nonviolent communication and musical development, which are big areas, right? And I think we can say that we will have an overview of what the possibilities are when considering children's development and how to help them have a healthy development, right?
Yeah. And I particularly like to speak with you and not just with another nonviolent communication practitioner about this because you're a musician and you are the son of 2 musicians. And so you also grew up in as a student of music, as a music learner and a performer as well, because you've been in Stomp for a few years and then now you're a facilitator of groups that actually meet together for human connection and to go through this type of transformations and journeys through music. So I think that you're really the perfect person. And today I think that it would be interesting, on top of understanding a few things of nonviolent communications, obviously, it would be very interesting, I think, for the people to also listen to some of the things that happened to you potentially through this growing. I always speak
Yeah,
about my
sure.
experiences, but having a musician in the group of experts is great, I think. So, well, here I have a few questions that I have wrote down, and that also a few people, kind of said to me in the last few weeks after starting the term. And so I think that it's very, very nice that we have this opportunity now. Um, would you like to maybe give us a very short introduction of what nonviolent communication is? And for the people that are like, yeah, cool, but what are we talking about here?
Yeah. So for me, these two subjects, what is my reference? Nonviolent communication is not something that I created. We can call it a methodology if we want, that helps us understand better our communication, how we communicate with each other, and what's behind the communication process? What are our emotions? What are our needs that influence the way we communicate? And then we can learn different ways of expressing, different ways of listening to each other, different ways of having a conversation. And this is amazing because many times we run out of tools. So it's good to know different ways because if you know different ways, you have more choice.
Yeah.
So this is one part. This is nonviolent communication. For the musical development, you already mentioned a little bit of my journey, right, as a musician. And I would say that my career as a musician and as a music teacher was not a conventional career. It was I was changing instruments. I was studying in different ways. I wasn't going through institutions and conventional ways, but it was very guided by the way I felt about the approaches and about how rigid
Mm.
or how violent sometimes
Yeah.
music education can be.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I think these two subjects they really help each other because nonviolent communication helps us learning different ways of communicating and thinking about musical development. What could be a non-violent way of learning music or supporting someone to learn music. So I think it's a very, very good conversation.
Yes. Well, just to dig a little bit even deeper in this, just yesterday I had a conversation with a nutritionist, and she is a nutritionist that she has a very holistic approach. She is a lot into neuroscience as well. And so she asked me one of the questions where, okay, do you want to talk to me about your traumas? And I was like, I think I'm, pretty fine. And then as I started responding, luckily enough, I didn't have any massive event that, kind of traumatized my nervous system because my problems are with my nervous system. And everything that came out was a lot was about how music was taught to me and the whole pressure I had through the exams, being the daughter of a professional musician, all the guilt that I felt, this fight or flight mode that really impacted my nervous systems in ways that we don't understand. And as parents, sometimes we just, we try to do the best we can. And I'm sure that my parents were trying to do the best they could. In fact, there's no guilt in that. But it's important. Maybe if I had the possibility to explore my own emotions and be better, or if my parents had a bigger chance to understand how the musical development happens, that I would have avoided a lot of the stresses that are now influencing me after 20 years after finishing my degree, let's say. Anyway, in between these questions, I would like to do a little game because I think that the people that are here with us are very active and I see them often in our retreats or courses, so potentially they will respond. I'm gonna bring up two questions and see if we get more likes for the first or for the second question because we don't have much
Can you
time.
measure? Can you measure that?
Well, I can ask the people to write a number one or a number two, and then they can choose. Hopefully, we get enough answers. Otherwise, we just go with our questions. So the first one that I would like to propose is this: how do I express my frustration as a teacher or as a parent, saying, I'm tired of reminding you to practice. So internally, I feel I'm really tired to tell you that you need to practice more or to remind you that you need to do things, that you have to bring your books. I'm really tired as an adult. So, how can I remind you this, or how can I express my frustration without making you feel guilty or judged? So this is question number one, guys. If you liked this question, listen to the second and then put the number one. Question number 2. How do I respond to a neurodiverse child, okay, that says, it's not my fault if I don't bring my books. It's not my fault if I don't practice. It's not my fault if I get distracted because I have a different brain. So this is a question that one of the teachers of Music Tree brought up to me after a girl during her classes. She's a girl with ADHD, and also she's in the autism spectrum. So she brought up this question and said, it's not my fault. I can't bring the book. I can't practice. I get distracted because it's not my fault. It's my brain. And the teacher also has ADHD. So the conversation between teacher and student was quite interesting. You can imagine a lot of impulses coming up at the same time. But yeah, this is the second question. I think that for what I'm seeing right now, we have more number 1 anyway than number 2. Maybe we will have a chance to speak about a little bit of both. We have another number 2 now, so the competition is growing. Shall we start with a number 1? No, number 2. Two. Again. 1. Okay, guys, there's no.
This is a nice game. It's a
It's a
nice
nice
game.
game. I think that, to be honest, you guys have to participate to the module that Pedro will do in about a month and a half, because obviously there are loads of things that we can speak about here. I do see a lot of 2. I have to be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 2 coming just right now.
We can try to have a quick overview
Yeah,
with
maybe we can connect
each
them.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So up to you now.
Yeah, please remind me of
Yes.
what
The
number
first,
2 is.
number 2 is the one with people, neurodiverse people,
Mm-hmm.
bringing up the fact that their brain is different and therefore kind of justifying, if you want, their behavior because of that. And I
Yeah.
have ADHD, and I have been there without knowing I had ADHD. But I have to be honest, now that I know that I have a diagnosis, sometimes I feel I can just justify myself and say, well, you know what, it's not really my fault. But that doesn't bring me much further into my relationship with people if I keep,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
justifying myself for that. But
Yeah.
there are levels and levels of neurodiversity, and for some people, it
Yeah.
might be more complicated than others.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say that when somebody says, "Oh, it's not my fault," I'm neurodivergent. There are a few perspectives that we can explore, and one of them is, what do you feel when you hear that?
From the other
Because
side,
yeah, from when the child tells you that, what do you feel? Do you get angry? Do you get worried? Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel irritated? Do you feel frustration? Because this is one big part of the process. One part of the process is thinking, how do I react to this child saying this? And another part of the process is, if you want to dig deeper, is to say, how do I react to my reaction?
ooh, yeah.
Which is a very interesting way of looking at things. How do I react to my reaction? Because many times my first reaction is to feel angry, is to feel frustrated. Maybe I will feel tired. Maybe I will feel worried and scared. What's gonna happen if this child keeps saying these things, you know? And many times when we're dealing with kids, we're thinking about the future. So we will feel scared, anxious, worried. And this is one perspective. The other perspective is to have a curiosity to ask yourself, what could be happening behind these words? What is this child feeling? What does he or she needs when he and she are saying that? What are the emotions? What are the needs? So when we step back and we think about our emotions and their emotions, we start opening a space that has more air to breathe, more
Mm,
oxygen, and we start understanding better. Because many times when we have tension or conflict, our point of view gets really narrow. And that's when we fight and we have a competition to see who has more power, who is right, who is wrong, who will have the last words. And everyone gets into, this conversation. But
yeah,
then if you can calm down at some point, maybe it will not be right when the situation is happening, but maybe a little bit later, if you can calm down, if you know these resources, then you can step back and try to understand these different points of view.
yeah,
And this helps opening a space, which is a space to then later start thinking about strategies.
yeah,
What could you say? What kind of conversation could come up after the kid says that?
yeah,
So I think this is a good beginning of a process.
yeah. It's very interesting, and it brings up, I think, another topic as well. Whenever we are teaching, or if we are parents, um, we don't know the human being that we have in front of us, and even if it grows with us, sometimes we expect some reactions, and maybe other things happens in reality. But in general, I think that especially as teachers, we meet different people with different characteristics. And so, one of our responsibilities is to really understand at least what is the potential neurodiversity, or what is the situation even behind a neurotypical child developing and growing. What are they going through before they arrive to our session? What is their schedule during the week? So all of these type of things can really impact the behavior of a person: stress, tension, neurodiversity, tiredness, sadness, and we don't always open that space in our classes to simply connect a little bit and ask, hey, so how are you today? And the answer of a child is good, perfect, let's start with the scales. And then maybe the child doesn't focus, doesn't engage, and then problems arrive from the parents. So expectations from the parents. So it's very interesting, I think, to use the nonviolent communication not just to in the dialogue, let's say, but as a framework that can open up a different type of communication with our students or our own children. So I really value a lot the fact that you are in this series of events that we are organizing. I think it's a very interesting perspective, and it brings also effective tools and make us reflect immediately on things that we can potentially improve tomorrow. So it's not like a psychotherapy that maybe requires loads of sessions. And I'm sure that nonviolent communications, before it becomes natural, it requires a lot of practice. But I feel that it's a good way to start thinking in a different way about our sessions and our commitment as teachers and parents in general.
Yeah,
Um,
and sorry,
no,
can
no,
I
go,
comment
go.
something
Of
about?
course.
Yeah. So, my experience with my music development, my musical development was something that was really valuable to me because my parents were musicians and they could have forced and pressured me to learn an instrument, to study, to practice, but they never did that.
Mm,
And what happened, it was actually the opposite. I had a lot of choice and they were making music. So they were not forcing me to make music. They were making music and they opened the space for me to participate.
Mm,
So the music was already happening. They were having fun with music.
yeah,
And that was very inviting.
yeah, yeah,
The music was already happening. The environment was already musical.
yeah,
So this was very inviting. There was the motivation for me was not, oh, I have to practice, I have to do these things. I
yeah,
have to have, I don't have to. I don't have to. I don't feel forced. I don't feel it's an obligation. So my relationship with music started there.
yeah,
And then this really helped me
yeah.
develop a very healthy relationship with music.
Yeah. And let's clarify that music, it's not important only for itself. Obviously, it has its reasons to be, but what music can bring to a person, it's a lot more. All the benefits that come from simply, participating in a music activity. And that doesn't even mean playing an instrument. Both of us work a lot with body music, body percussions, voice. So we are um, musical instruments. Our body is a musical instrument. And this, I think, needs to be clear for the families, because most of the time we associate learning music or having music in our lives with I have to become a good musician or play an instrument technically in a good way. And actually, that's not what we are promoting at Music Tree. We want kids obviously to improve if they want to do exams, welcome them. But our primary intention is to bring music to their life for the rest of their life. So they can use it when they're tired. They can use it when they're stressed. They can use it to connect with other people. They can potentially become music therapists one day, or facilitators or psychotherapists that use music, or a doctor that use music in their lives. So that's the idea behind this type of conversation. It's not about, oh no, we have to learn music, so let's find a better way to learn music. No, it's not about that. It's about keeping music in our lives and change the world through music. That's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, and something sad many times, I think something very sad that happens is people who become musicians, they lose their connection
Mm,
with music. They lose their joy with music. They lose all these benefits that we get from music, right? Because it becomes something so tense and something so cold and technical. And many times people who are not musicians, they have better relationship
yes,
with music, and this is something really amazing because it helps people in their lives.
yes, absolutely. I already love this conversation after only 20 minutes. Um, do you think we have another couple of minutes to just see what the other question, which was like, how
Sure.
do I express my frustration um,
Yeah.
without making feel guilty or judged another person?
Yeah, I think it has to do, there is a connection between them because maybe in both of these situations, you feel frustration when something happens, when your kid doesn't practice, when your kid doesn't do something that you would like them to do. So I think this question is already maturing, is already processing the emotional part of
Yeah,
this because many times my first reaction when I see a kid that is not doing something that I want the kid to do, my first reaction is, you have to do this. You are the problem. You are causing the problem. You know, you should do this like in this way. So my first reaction is, the problem is you. This is my first reaction.
yeah. And this
So
happened with
you're,
partners, happened with
yeah,
friends.
yeah, and this is already the tip of the iceberg that if you search under the water, you will see frustration. So your question is already revealing, I'm feeling frustration because this kid is doing something different than what I expect.
Yeah.
So this is a very powerful process because then it helps us think think more consciously about our reaction. How do
Yeah.
you respond? Because when you are frustrated, you might get dangerous. When you're frustrated, angry, irritated, anxious, tired, maybe you will get dangerous with kids because you say tougher, rougher words, more rigid words. You have more reactive reactions. So there is a very good exercise. This is just an overview, but there is a very good exercise in nonviolent communication that invites us to say, okay, I feel.
I'm sorry.
Feel free
Go.
to cough.
I'm fine. Go, go.
The exercise is when you are in a tough moment like this, when your kid is not doing what you like your kid to do, you can say, I feel frustration or I feel angry because and then you try
To
to
finish.
feel, to finish this sentence because I would like what? What would you like? What's your expectation that is being frustrated? So I feel frustration with this kid because I would like this kid to do the things I want him to do.
Yeah,
But why? What?
or simply because I would like to go and take a shower. I would like to go and
Yes.
have some time for myself. Yeah.
Yes, or I would like to see this kid studying and practicing because then I would be more relaxed and feel more
Safe,
safe
that he's
about
safe.
this kid's future.
Yeah.
Or so what's behind your frustration? And when you go through this process, then you will have the chance of expressing this or not. Sometimes you don't even have to express this to the kid.
Yeah.
But maybe you can. Maybe you can say, "Oh, you know what? I'm just frustrated because I'm worried for you. I'm worried about your future. That's why I'm feeling this."
Yeah.
So you're not saying, "I feel this because you are doing this." You say, "I feel this because I want you," or because I'm expecting, or because I'm worried for this and that. So
Yeah.
it's a beginning of a process of understanding why you're frustrated, and then deciding later if you really want to verbalize it or not, because sometimes you don't even have to
Yeah.
verbalize it.
It's just one layer on top of the other that we have to start, kind of taking away. And I realize sometimes in a couple, especially when you are with a child, maybe you are frustrated and your couple, your partner, see that is you having this frustration internally. Is not really the child. Child is just trying the best they can, but you have your own agenda, and then you're not even, sometimes you're not even aware, or you cannot admit it to yourself. And then your partner tells you, come on, it was just you that wanted to go and have 10 minutes for yourself. And then there's the moment when you're like, oh, even you against me. So that's create, every tension that a child or a student brings into the environment and the adult reactions is, it's potentially the very beginning of a much bigger conflict. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and can I
yeah,
comment something about that just to finish? I think there is a very important part of this process, which is dealing with your reactions. So sometimes you react in a way that you don't think it's ideal. You make a decision or you say something or you have an attitude with the kid that you don't think it's ideal, and then you will feel shame,
Yeah.
you will feel guilt. I remember I was teaching nonviolent communication to music teachers, and one teacher said, because I asked them, imagine a moment of your life that you reacted to a student or to your own kid, and you felt shame, you felt guilt, and this
You felt
teacher
shit.
said, you felt shit. And this teacher said, yes, when I hit my kid, I hit
Yeah.
my kid once. So then you can dig behind that. So what do you think it was your conscious or unconscious intention behind hitting your kid? What did you want to do? What was the intention behind the behavior, your behavior? What did you want? What were you longing for? What was missing? And then in the end of this process, this person said, I just wanted to be heard
Mm,
because my kid was not listening to me, was not doing the things that I wanted this kid to do. So then at some point, I just lost my mind and I hit the kid because I wanted the kid to stop and pay attention to me.
yeah.
So I wanted to be heard. I wanted to have their attention. I wanted to have empathy. And my reaction was a tragic way of trying to get that. But then when you start digging, you understand what's behind your
Yeah.
behavior and you start being more conscious and making more conscious choices.
Choices. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Cool. Thank
Thank
you
you very
too.
much. Thank you very much. This has been just the starting of a longer conversation. And
Yeah.
as I said before, I really value your participation in this first series of events that we are organizing for the families. Um, it's the first time for me that I bring up this type of topics to my audience here online, but it's also the first time that I offer this type of courses for the families. You know, I always been a bit worried of making that move, and I don't want adults to feel judged in when we are bringing up this type of conversation. So um, it's important to say that everything that we are trying to say, everything that we're trying to do, is just to bring more awareness to the process, and that me and you in these specific situations have exactly the same problems, the same issues with our partners, with our families, with our children. So it's a working process, and we don't come in as the experts that have no problems at all, but actually is completely different. So there is really a non-judgmental idea behind this type of new course, let's say, new type of sessions. Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much for today. I
You're
will
welcome.
I
Thank
will
you
now
too.
write in the posts, in the captions, all the ways in which the people can join us. Oh, thank you, Lara. Thank you both. It's amazing. Lara was in your workshop in Croatia.
Ah, cool.
And now she's part of MTTT, so she's following the whole course as well online, and she will be in the future retreats. So guys, by the way, don't miss Pedro when he comes in Europe, when he comes in London. He's always a guest at Music Tree, so whenever you can, come, because it's incredible. The value of your conversations are really important. So anyway, bye for now, and I will see you in about a month and a half for the sessions online. As I said, lie down underneath the post. I will write all the ways in which people can participate to the first to your modules. So, Aida, so good to see you two together and listen to this amazing topic. Ah, thanks, Aida, for being here. Elishka, you're great. Thank you. I'm really thankful, Lara. Thank you, guys. This honestly is just the beginning. Okay, so join us in the next future sessions because it's gonna be fun, very fun.
Hmm.
Pedro, I wish you a nice stay in Brazil, right? You just came back from
Thank you.
California.
Yeah, yeah, I was there for 2 weeks. Yeah, and now I'm back to Brazil, and this Friday I'm flying, but in Brazil to a different place to teach.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's starting the summer, and then you're gonna have a retreat very soon with Musica do Circolo. So, guys, if you want to meet Pedro and the other people of Musica do Circolo, in January there will be two retreats outside São Paulo. I
Yeah.
have been I have been twice, and it's an incredible life-changing experience. So get in contact with Musica do Circolo and Pedro if if this type of conversation has sparkled something in yourself as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ciao. Speak
Bye
soon.
bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye guys. Thank you.